electron gas in metals. Modern theory of electrical conduction in metals began with Paul Root's paper published in 1990. This model, which is an application of kinetic theory, assumes that the microscopic behavior of electrons in a solid may be treated classically and looks much like a pinball machine with a sea of constantly jittering electrons bouncing and rebouncing off behavior relatively immobile positive ions. Drude's theory rests on the assumption that conduction electrons in metals can be treated as a gas of weakly interacting particles. By applying the methods used in the kinetic theory of gases, Drude was able to give a quantitative derivation of the Weidmann-Franz law that the ratio of thermal to electrical conductivities is a universal number times the absolute temperature. The calculated Lorentz number was in reasonable agreement with the experiment. However, the results for the individual conductivities were not very encouraging. The theory was refined by H.A. Lorentz, who applied Maxwell-Boltzmann statistics to the electron gas. He found the theoretical Lorentz number to be reduced by the factor 2 by 3 from Drude's value, thus weakening the agreement with the experiment. So, the main features of Drude model are: he treats metals as gas of weakly interacting particles, and the second point, he used the kinetic theory of gases for giving a quantitative derivation of Weidmann-Franz law. Then the third point is, there is a discrepancy shown in the Lorentz number, that is, the results for individual conductivities were not similar. Then the drawbacks of Drude model. The three main drawbacks of Drude's theory are: the first one is the observed specific heat of metals 3R at room temperature appears to be completely accountable by lattice vibrations alone, while the theory demands that on the basis of the equipartition theorem, every electron must make a contribution of magnitude 3 by 2K to the specific heat, so that the total heat capacity to be 9 by 2 R. And the second failure is failure to explain magnetic properties. And the third drawback is failure to explain the temperature dependence of conductivity. The first difficulty was solved by Sommerfeld by the application of Fermi-Dirac statistics to the electron gas in metals. Then Pauli and Heisenberg showed how quantum theory can be used to explain the negative properties, and the concepts necessary to solve the third problem were provided by the Sommerfeld. We defined Fermi temperature Tf by the relation K into Tf is equal to Ef. Then let us see what are the conditions for electronic emission and how it takes place. In view of the fact that the electronic emission does not take place spontaneously, we infer that the electrons inside a metal find themselves caught in some sort of a potential well created by the ions. Thus, while inside the metal, the electrons move about freely and independently of one another. However, as soon as any one of them approaches the surface of the metal and tries to escape, it encounters a potential barrier of height W. Accordingly, only those electrons whose kinetic energy is greater than W can expect to escape through the surface barrier. At ordinary temperatures, especially in the absence of any external stimulus, such electrons are too few in any given metal, with the result that there is practically no spontaneous emission from metals. But at high temperatures and more, if there is an external stimulus present, the population of such electrons in a given metal could become large enough to yield seizable emission. We then speak of phenomena such as thermionic effect and photoelectric effect. Then, what is thermionic emission? Thermionic emission is the liberation of electrons from an electrode by virtue of its temperature. This occurs because the thermal energy given to the carrier overcomes the work function of the material or overcomes the potential barrier. The charge carriers can be electrons or ions, and in older literature are sometimes referred to as thermions. After emission, a charge that is equal in magnitude and opposite sign to the total charge emitted is initially left behind in the emitting region. But if the emitter is connected to the battery, the charge left behind is neutralized by charge supplied by the battery as the limited charge carriers move away from the emitter, and finally the emitter will be in the same state as it was before emission. The liberation of electrons from a heated filament is shown here. Richardson's law. Following J.J. Thomson's identification of the electron in 1897, the British physicist Owen Williams Richardson began work on the topic that he later called thermionic emission. In 1901, Richardson published the result on these experiments. The current from a heated wire seemed to depend experimentally on the temperature of the wire with a mathematical form similar to the Arrhenius equation. Later, he proposed that the emission law should have the mathematical form J is equal to Ag T square e raised to minus W by kT, where J is the emission current density and T is the temperature of the metal and W is the work function of the metal, K is the Boltzmann's constant, and Ag is a parameter which is defined by Ag is equal to lambda r A0, where lambda r is a material specific correction factor that is typically of order 0.5, and A0 is a universal constant given by A0 is equal to 4 pi mk square QE divided by h cube, where m and QE are the mass and charge of an electron and h is the Planck's constant. The influence of moderately strong electric field on the thermionic emission from a metal is called Schottky effect. It can be modeled by a simple modification of Richardson equation by replacing W by W minus delta W. That is, he replaced W by W minus delta W in the first equation and get J is equal to Ag T square e raised to minus W minus delta W divided by kT, where delta W equal to square root of Q e cube F divided by 4 pi epsilon 0. That is, the electron emission that takes place in the field and temperature regime where this modified equation applies is called Schottky emission. Hall-Wax experiment or photoelectric emission. Hall-Wax experimental setup to study the photoelectric effect is shown here. It consists of an evacuated quartz bulb with two zinc plates C and A. Plate C is the cathode and A is the anode. See the picture. The plates are connected to the battery and a sensitive galvanometer. In the absence of any radiation incident on the plates, there is no flow of current and hence there is no deflection in the galvanometer. Photoelectric emission is the phenomena by which a good number of substances, chiefly metals, emit electrons under the influence of radiation such as gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet and even visible light. This effect was discovered Heinrich Hertz in 1887 while working with resonance electrical circuits. A year later, Holwachs investigated the phenomenon with a simple experimental experiment. Here shows the variation of photoelectric current by the intensity of incident light. We can easily see that the amount of photoelectric current produced is directly proportional to the incident light.